So Joidala fashion guide. Today's video, we are going to be making a wrapper skirt. So first of all, I'm going to cut out the front and the back pattern. Now, to know the amount of fabric to put on fold, we are going to use quarter of the hip measurement plus 2 or 3 inches allowance. So I have cut out the front pattern. This is the front pattern, and then this is the back pattern. The front pattern is 14 inches wide, and then the back pattern I added extra 1.5 inches to it because of the zipper allowance. So I'm going to place the front pattern on the back pattern. We are going to be drafting both of them together. So you can use your pin to hold it in place. This skirt is going to have a band. It's going to have a 2 inches band. And then the length of the skirt, to know the length of the skirt to cut, you cut your full length minus the band allowance. And of course, you also add folding allowance. So I have 40 inches cut out. I'm going to be using 2 inches for folding. And then I'm going to be adding bands to the skirt. So I'll mark my starting line at the top, 1/2 inch. That is the 1/2 inch I'm going to use to join into the band. Just trying to make sure that they are equal. So we're going to mark our starting line, 1/2 inch seam allowance at the top. That is what you're going to use to join to the band. We are making a wrapper skirt. So I'll draft the main skirt first. So this is 1/2 inch to join to the band. The band will be 2 inches. So I'll place my tape here like this. And then I have my full length. And also my full length is 39 inches. And then the remaining 2 inches will be my folding allowance. So next thing is to mark the waist to the hip. The waist to the hip I'm working with is 8 inches. So after marking waist to hip, the next thing you mark the waist to the knee. Then we have the full length and then the folding allowance. So this is the waistline, this is the hip line, the knee line, this is the full length of our skirt, and of course the folding allowance. So on the hip line, I'll take quarter of the hip measurements. I'll mark quarter of the hip. I don't want the skirt to be too tight, so I just add 1/2 inch of ease. And then I have my 2 inches seam allowance. On the waistline, I'll put 1/4 of the waist measurement. 1/4 of the waist measurement. I'll add 1 inch for that. And then 2 inches seam allowance. So I'm going to connect this. I'm going to connect the waist to the hip. And then on the knee area, let me check what I have on the hip line. Okay, so on the hip I have 11 inches before the seam allowance. So I'll go ahead and reduce the knee to 10 inches. So this is according to preference. And then I add my 2 inches seam allowance. So because it's a pencil skirt, whatever I have on the knee, I'll mark it at the down part. Here I have 12 inches, so I'll just mark 12 inches at the down part. So I'll use my long ruler to connect the knee to the down part. And then the knee to the hip. And of course, I'll blend it out. To avoid false hip. So I'm going to cut it out. So this is the front pattern and this is the back pattern. So for the back pattern, I'll cut open the zipper line. I'll also notch where the zipper will stop. So one more thing, I'll mark the dart. To do that, I'll use 1/2 of the nipple measurement. I'm not going to be cutting it out, so I'll just mark 1/2 inch on both sides. And then the length will be 6 inches. So I'll notch where we have it. So when it is time to sew, we are going to do it in form of a triangle. Like this. So that is all for the front and the back pattern. This is the front pattern, this is the back pattern. So I'm going to use this front pattern to cut the wrapper. And then you determine the side you're going to tie the wrapper to. So if you want to cut the front pattern, you open it and cut on the front side. you cut on the front side. So many times we tie our wrapper like this, okay? That means the wrap is going to end this way. If it is on me like this, so that means I'm going to tie my wrapper like this, okay? So I'll leave this hip side, but this side we do not need it for the wrap. Now if you want the wrapper to end on the exact side as the front pattern, then from here you just mark it straight down and cut off the excesses, okay? And then if you like, you can also give it a slant, okay? You can also slant it, okay, just to give it style. I'm going to be adding organza, pleated organza to the end of mine, okay? So I'm not going to cut the wrapper to get to the end. I already know where my dart is. This is where my dart is. This is where the dart is going to end, okay? And then I'll measure the difference that I have there. I'll share it into two. So let's say 7.5 into 2. So this is where the main fabric will stop, and then I'll have 2 inches for the pleat. 2 inches for the pleat, okay? So I want the pleat to be visible. And then on this down part, I'll just check the middle of the down. This is the middle. So if you like, you can maintain it straight down, okay? Then you can also check what you have here and get the midpoint if you want it to be a bit slanted. And then we'll connect this to this part. So we connect it like this and just cut it off there. We now have our pleat, or we can extend the line out, okay? So for me, what I'm going to do first of all is that I'm going to mark here straight down. I'm going to use this to cut another one, okay? So the other one will now be the front part. I'm just going to mark what I'm cutting the wrapper on this one. So after all my marking, I just cut it out. Okay, so you cut here off, and then if you don't want to add any organza, you just cut here off, and then this will now be the wrapper. Then you use this to cut a lining, okay? The lining will be 1 inch shorter than this because you are going to use the down part to fold in the lining, okay? So let me just quickly cut out the front pattern so that I can explain everything at once. So this is how I'm going to place it to cut out the wrap. This side, I'll trace out the shape of the side, but for here, I will fold it where the wrap will get to, because I'm going to add a pleat to that part, okay, and cut. So this is the main front, and then this is the wrap. I'm going to use this to cut out lining. I'll make the lining to be 1 inch shorter. Then for the front and the back pattern, I will also put lining, but I'm not going to do a full lining. I'll make the lining to stop around the knee. So I'll quickly cut the lining off camera, and then I'm going to cut the band of the skirt, the waistband. The band is going to be 2 inches wide, and then we also need a belt for the wrap. We need a belt for the wrap and the side. So I'm going to bring the wrap to the side, then there will be a belt to tie it. So quickly cut that. So the wrapper, I've cut out the organza and I've pleated it. I'll just show you how I'm going to put it. It's going to be on it like this, so I'll place it like this to rest on it like this. Okay, just arrange it. I'll arrange it, pleat it here, then place the lining on top to turn it. I'll place the lining on it like this. Then I'll stitch it down. That way I'll use the lining to turn it, then turn this inside. Okay? But this one I'll just stitch it down. I'll stitch it before I use the lining to turn it. Then I'll also turn the down part with the lining. Okay, that is how I'm going to do the wrapper. And then for the top of the wrapper, I'm going to put a band. The tie, I'll just place it on top and just extend it. So I'll measure what that will take. I'll measure it, maybe up to 36. Okay, and then the width can be the same as the band. It can be 2 inches. So I'll do that according to my preference. So this is the front pattern with the lining. So I'll sew the darts for each of them. Place it like this and stitch. Do same for this side, do same for the lining. After which I'll use the lining to turn the sides. I'll place it right side facing each other. Like this. And I'll stitch here with 1/2 inch, then turn it. I'll repeat same for the back pattern. I'll sew all the darts on the main fabric, then on the lining. Then I'll turn the piece. This is the front pattern. I'll pick one of the lining, making sure that it faces right side facing each other. like this on the right side. So I'll sew here 1/2 inch, here 1/2 inch, then I'll turn it. I'll do same for this other one. So once I've done that, I'll come back to show you what it looks like before we proceed to the next step. So this is the front pattern after turning with lining. We have also sewed the darts. Then this is the back pattern. We have sewed the darts and then we have turned with lining. So you put the middle together like this, and then you stitch. I'm going to sew with, this is a zipper line. So you stitch with the zipper allowance that you have left. After which you are going to have it like this. So this is the wrap. I pleated organza at the edge. Then I've attached one tie. The second tie will be on the other side of the waist. So this is the second tie. I'm going to show you how to turn it with lining. I've already sewed it down with lining. So you make the lining shorter than the fabric. So after sewing it like this, 1/2 inch, then you shift it upward like this. So that the fabric will come, part of the fabric will be inside like this. Okay? You're going to trim off the excess later. You check for your length. If you check if your length is okay. So this is okay because I'm going to attach this on the waistline. It will just be at the end of where the band ends. That is where it will stay. It will not get to the top of the band. Just where the band ends. Or you can adjust it to end on the same level as the band. You are going to have a 2 inches band from this. So let me place it on the upper one. This is the front pattern, and the front pattern is going to have a band. This is the band. I've ironed the band. Iron it up, fold the edge in with 1/2 inch. So the band will be on it like this. Of course, the band is going to go round to the back. So let me just use this to do my illustration. Assuming you have it like this. So you will use this as a guide to where so this is going to be, we are going to be folding this top as well, but I just want to show you where the wrap will get to. So the wrap will get to the top of the band like this. Okay, so that is what you use to determine your length. So preferably before you attach this to this, you fold the down of this, the down of the front pattern. Our full length plus the band is 39 inches. Assuming we have fixed the band already. So this is where we have 39 inches. So I'll fold the down part with 1.5 inch. So I'll fold the down part of the front. I'll fold it 1.5 inch. Okay, just fold it. So you can fold twice. You can fold like this first, 1/2 inch first, and then 1 inch. I'll do same for the back pattern. So this is the front pattern. After stitching the back pattern, they will fold in the down part. Then I saw the zipper line as well. Then this is the front pattern. I also fold the down part. You saw the dart, torn with lining. This is the wrap. So I use the lining to turn it, you see, then shifted it down upward. So part of the fabric is inside, then stitch the side, the two sides. So what I'm going to do next is that I'm going to turn it inside out. So you iron when you've done that. So you're going to iron it again. So this is what we have after ironing it. Some trim of the excess lining. So I'm going to be attaching our tie. We'll use it to tidy this upper part and then to extend out. So you can just do twice of what you have here. I have 17 here, so that means 34. Or let's say 36. You can even take it up to 40. And it will be 2 inches wide. So I'm going to use this to cut it and then fold it. So let me check what I have here. So I'll just take the length of what I have here. So I'll mark 2.5. So to make it easier for you, just use your iron to fold it. So I'll fold this side 1/2 inch. Fold here 1/2 inch as well. I also fold this side 1/2 inch. Okay. So let me quickly fold that and show you what it looks like. So this is what it looks like after folding. Folding 1/2 inch this way, 1/2 inch this way. So I'll take this part, place it on it like this, and then I'll stitch it 1/2 inch to this point. So it will be like this. Then after that, I'll fold in the upper part like this. I'll close here. I'll close here, then close here. Stitch down to the end. So this is what we have after attaching closing the top of the wrap with the tie. So I'm going to attach it to the skirt now, so we can end the skirt. But before we do that, we are going to join the side of the skirt so that we can attach the band. So just take note of the middle of the front, mark the middle. So before we close the side, we'll just put in the wrap in between. So let me remove the back pattern. Then I place the wrap over the front like this, making sure that the sides, they align, one side align. Like this. And then this other tie is going to be on this side. So I'll place this later after attaching the band. So when I'm going to stitch this now, I will not stitch this upper part to this place. I'll just stop here. I'll make sure that this place, I'll leave ½ inch. That's where it will stop. ½ inch here. ½ inch. Okay. So this tie will be inside like this. Just close to that ½ inch. Okay. To be inside. Let me just use a pin to hold it in place. So I'm going to place the back pattern on it and then take the measurements. So this side, I'll just fold it in so that it doesn't get on the way. I can just fold it in like this. We are attaching the wrap on one side to the skirt. So I'll place the back pattern over it like this. So I can also fold this side down. So I'll just pin it in place. So we take our measurements. This time around we are taking half of the measurement. So you mark half of the waist, half of the waist. Whatever is left, I'll share it into two. Then I'll put one part this way and the other part this way. So that way we now have it in between. Okay, then waist to hip. Then half of the hip line. The hip is 42. That is 21. I'll check what is left, share it into two, put one part here, one part here. Then for the hip, whatever I'll reduce 2 inches from the hip line. So right now I have 21. If I reduce 2 inches, that will be 19. So you do yours according to your preference. You can reduce 1 inch on both sides or 1.5 on both sides. So it depends on your customer's preference. I want her to be able to walk, so I'll just take, so I'll make it 19. After fitting, I can always adjust if there is need to. Okay, so whatever I have on the knee, I'll just take it down. Hip to the knee, and then the waist to the hip. So we just join the side now, and then we'll be left with the band. After we should fix our zip, and then that will be all for the skirt. So let's finish up. This is what we have after sewing the wrap on it. So this other tie will be here like this. It will come out from here, so I can tie towards the back. So I'll use my pin to hold it in place. Okay, and then for the bands, you can separate the front from the back bands. Okay, so that we'll be able to attach this side. If not, we'll use a single one all through. But because of this side, so that I'll be able to attach it. So separate the front from the back. So I'll fix the front band separately from the back. So I'll loosen this side here. I'll loosen here. And place like this from the back. And I'll stitch it. Then when I'm through, I'm going to flip this to this side and complete it. So I'll do same for the back pattern. So we'll have separate band for them. I'll also start from the back, stitch with 1/2 inch to this point. I'll come out to like 1/4. Then I'll close it up. I'll repeat same for the other side. Then when we are through with that, we'll now be able to close up this side. I'll just place the 3 of them together and stitch it up. They also close this side. Then we'll attach the zipper. So the zipper will end on the back. Open up this back. We open it up. So I'll check. I have like 20 inches, so I'm going to open up this back. And then I'll just fold in this side like this. So I can use hemi glue to just hold that down so that no seam will show you. If not, you can fold it in 1/2 inch. Then you stitch till you get to the point here. You cross to this side and continue this way. So that is how to end the back slit. So I'll show you the final look on the mannequin. So here is our wrapper skirt. So we tie it at the back. So we have come to the end of this video. Thanks for watching. This is Joidala Fashion Guide.